Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome to all of y'all. Welcome to another episode of Cliff Notes Live, episode 122. If I'm keeping my math and my counting correct, pretty sure it's 122. Welcome to all of y'all. Hope y'all are doing fantastic. Before going further, I'll just say a big ol' SKD 143. I love my wife. I love my kids. I love reality TV fans, especially like those of you who are out here sharing Monday night with me or watching on replay as well. I never want to forget y'all as well. Thanks to all of y'all. Hope y'all are doing fantastic. Welcome to April. Seems like March and February and January were just a little while ago. Now, welcome to April, one of my favorite months for all kinds of reasons. Getting closer and closer to Big Brother. That's certainly part of it as well. Hope y'all are doing well. 90 degrees here at Houston. Man, what do they say? April showers bring May flowers. Not down here in Texas. April just brings heat. That's all there is to it. So yeah, it's hot down here. I went out and planted my loofahs, so I'm starting my gardening up a little bit early this year. Of course, we'll get one more freeze just to make it miserable, but that's all right. For those of you who aren't in Texas, we got kind of a funny thing down here in Texas. Our state flower is the bluebonnets, which, yeah, I know every state's got a flower, but we've got bluebonnets. They grow everywhere down here. As kids, we were all terrorized by our parents who told us a story that if you pick a bluebonnet, it's against the law and they could send you to kid jail for picking bluebonnets. It worked. No, we wouldn't touch those flowers at all. We thought they were just waiting to take the kids off to jail if we did it. But now what's funny is they grow on the side of the highway. About this time of year, you see so many cars parked on the side of the road. It's because all the parents have their kids up in the middle of those bluebonnets taking pictures. Well, it makes cool pictures. You know, these bright blue flowers all around you and all of it. It's just kind of a rite of spring for everyone to start taking their bluebonnet pictures, taking the pictures of the kids in their bluebonnets. So I'm off rambling. That's all right. Welcome to all of y'all. Hope you are doing well. Go out here and see who we got here real quick, and then I'll tell you all kinds of stuff going on. Some of reality TV related, some of it not so much. Keith Franken, hey Keith, how are you doing? First one out here. Brian Huster, Brian, how are you doing, sir? Amanda Lowe, Ma is angry. Well, welcome. I thought you were on spring break. Mark Taylor as well. Hey Mark, welcome back. Cindy Heyer I lost my. Got all lost out. Sorry about that, guys. And Cindy. I didn't want to forget you. Michelle Moore as well. Vicky Stone. Hey, Vicky. How are you? Marilyn Sutherland. Wyatt Garrett. Hey, Wyatt. Andy W. And Maureen Carroll. Moss Sands. Cliff's birthday's in April. Yeah, just one of the reasons I enjoy April. Let's see. D. Ellis, Patty Bell. And I think that's about it. Again, I know some of y'all are watching on replay. Some of y'all aren't maybe out here doing comments. Here's the thing. I got my little notes every day I come in. I try to do notes. I'll talk about anything, but it's nice to have some outlines and all that. But anything y'all want to talk about, man, fire away. So those of you over here in the comment section, you got things you want to know, throw them at me. We're a little open-ended tonight. As I say, we got Easter coming up. We got a little reality TV. I've got a story or two to talk about that. And then who knows what else. All right, let's see what we've got. A couple of things real quick before I go into some of my notes. Andy W saying, we're still having winter weather. Yeah, I know. I feel bad. I feel bad now. Come July when it's 120 degrees or so down here and y'all are in a balmy 80 degrees or so, the shoe will be on the other foot, right? I got to say, one of my toughest days ever as a kid. Yeah, I had a little few jobs here and there, but one of the jobs I had when I was probably 15 or 16 was passing circulars out. You know, the things that you find on your door, all the little circular advertisements and all that. Well, I had a job. I actually had my own little business where a printer would print those things up. He'd send them over to me, and then I got paid, I think it was a nickel a house, to put these things on doors, all in neighborhoods throughout my hometown. Once I turned 16, I hired some other kids, and sometimes I would be the driver. I'd drop them off. They'd go back and forth down the streets. Then I'd pick them up, drive to the next spot, and do some more circulars. Just a summertime job. It was actually, it's kind of fun, except on the day when it got to be 123 degrees, 123, 122, so over 120 there in Dallas Fort Worth, and I felt every degree of that. It was the most brutal. It was driving the truck. You couldn't even touch the metal on the truck because it was so hot. Miserable, miserable. So, yeah, those of you who are enjoying the winter weather, just know that you're gonna have a little bit nicer summer than we will. We'll pay the price on down the road. But for right now, I'm enjoying those couple of weeks of spring we've got before it goes up over the 100-degree into the triple-digit temperature. So there you go. All right. Let's see what else we've got on here. Let me see. Ma saying, "Oh, spring break starts next week." Yeah, I got my times off a little bit. Terry Adler Jr. saying spring break starts today. Well, Terry, enjoy your spring break. I don't know what part of the world you're in, but you could actually go swimming in the ocean down here now and enjoy the beaches and everything. That's a little bit better than you could a couple of weeks before. But man, I miss spring break. How come they don't have spring break for after you get out of high school, college, and get into the working world? I didn't really think to call my boss and say, "Hey, I'm gonna take a week off. I'm heading down to Padre Island to hang out and enjoy the beach and the sand and all that." Yeah, maybe I should try it. They until you ask, you never know, right? All right, Keith Franken saying, "What are your Easter plans? What's going on?" Easter is one of those times that we always try to get together as a family. Try to do it. We try to do it on Christmas, but people with extended families and all that, sometimes it's hard to get everyone in Christmas together for Christmas. And I know, especially like when my kids were younger, we always wanted to stay here. It's Santa and all that. So we would stay here. We'd actually do Easter a little bit after the actual holiday, like between Easter and New Year's. The whole family would get together. But Easter, we try to always get together on Easter. So I'll be traveling up to Dallas Fort Worth at some point, and we'll do a little Easter celebration. And I think we'll still do an Easter egg hunt and all that. Kids in my family extended family as well, starting to get a little bit older, but we still have one or two that allow us to get out there and do some Easter and such. So I think we're gonna head up that direction, and yeah, it's just nice to see the family. Haven't done that in a little while. So that's it. That's it for plans, really. We'll do that. I don't know. We'll find out. Talk about a little prank. I'm trying to work out a prank. I don't know if I'll do something or not. We'll see what's going on. But yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. It's funny. I've worked all over the world. I've traveled everywhere. I've spent a lot of time overseas. I've missed birthdays, Thanksgivings. I missed one Christmas. And fortunately, it was before I was married. And what a lousy Christmas that was. Being out in the middle of nowhere working on an oil rig. Yeah, that was a bad way to spend a Christmas. Pay was okay, but other than that. But I did have one Easter that I missed being at home with my wife and kids. I was actually working in Venezuela. And here's the kicker. I was working in Venezuela out in the middle of absolute nowhere. And my wife, Sharon, was pregnant with our second child, with Daniel. And so I hated being gone. But career-wise and all that, and it was, she said, just be ready if something happens. You come back home as quick as you can. Yeah, I'm certainly paying attention. But I was out in the middle of nowhere, a place called Ciudad Ojeda. And I was actually there over the Easter holiday. And it's funny because down there in Venezuela, it's not just Easter Sunday that they celebrate. They really shut down everything for the entire week. I was doing a little work with the oil companies, but it just was very slow that week. But it was kind of cool because I remember in this little city, they had, I think it was on Palm Sunday, they had a procession through the town for Palm Sunday. And I think they were carrying a crucifix, but I don't remember. But anyway, the whole town did this little like Easter parade. And so I watched it as well. And just very, very interesting watching how passionate everyone was about it and everything down there. So I did that. On Easter Day, I went to the little bitty church that was there in the town. and attended an Easter service. The whole service was in Spanish, but I could follow along. I knew enough about the process, the service, and all that to know what was going on. But yeah, it was just very interesting to get to share someone else's culture in another country for that Easter service. So that was a fun Easter. I remember that. Now, I remember going to another church service. This time I was in Mexico City when I was 16 or so. Went down there, little trip with my church. We rehabilitated an orphanage that was down there. Spent a couple of weeks with the local kids. I was learning Spanish and doing some, good natured kind of mission and all that. We went to church service there in Mexico City, and right in the middle of the service, during a very quiet part of the service, someone walking by on the street just outside the church had a radio, and it was playing the Addams Family theme. And so we're sitting there trying to be solemn and, church. And all of a sudden we heard da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. And I looked over and everyone had their hands doing a little snapping below the level where the priest or anyone else could see it. But all the other kids, the kids from Mexico, the kids from the United States, we all were doing the same thing. And we just broke out, not out loud laughter, but you know what I mean. So yeah, it's funny. But yeah, so Easter, that's a short answer. Going up to see my folks. Long answer. I remember that Easter in Venezuela as well. All right. Probably a lot more information than you were asking or wanting when you asked that question, right? All right. What else do we have? Mark Taylor, what's your thoughts on the Survivor season? Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about actual stuff. What's your thoughts on the Survivor season? And Moss saying it's been a very slow pre-merge. I've got very mixed feelings about it. On the one hand, I really like everyone from this cast. There's no one on this cast that I don't like, which is, I don't know if that's good or bad. Sometimes if there's someone that you just can't stand, you're a lot quicker to be cheering just to see them go home. You're cheering against them and cheering for the good people. It's really been only in the last week or two that I've really started developing some really strong feelings about a few people. Has it been a little bit slow? I don't know. I don't know how you can say that when we've had idols played at the first couple of tribal councils, and 2 people have gone home so far, right? 2 people, right? The very first, and we just lost one this week. I don't know. I'm enjoying it. Now, I will say this. I'm not a huge fan of having so many idols out there. Seems like idols and advantages and take other people's power. There are so many twists and stuff floating out right now. I can't keep track of it. I just can't even keep track of who's got what at this point in time. And I don't really like that too much. I like a little bit more old school with just maybe 1 or 2 idols floating around and a little bit more certain, but I get it. They wanted it as exciting as possible. And I laughed at this last episode. Was it Josh that was claiming he had another immunity idol, and Carolyn and Yam Yam were saying, well, let me see this idol. And he shows it to them, and they notice right off the bat, well, these are the beads that were on our tree mail, right? Oh, no. Well, this idol's falling all apart. You sure that? No, it's good. It's good. They aren't buying it. I can't imagine for a second. I'd like to think if I was on the island, I was going to say in the house, if I was on the island, I wouldn't buy it either. It seems pretty obvious that it's a fake idol, but he's pushing it. I'm a little bit. If I was him, I'd be a little bit worried. If you push something like that too hard, try it, and if people fall for it, great. But at some point, would it make more sense to say, all right, guys, you got me. I don't really have an idol, but let's use it for when we merge, which is coming up, right? Let's use it. I'll bring y'all in on it and everything, and y'all tell everyone that I've got an idol. You don't even have to tell them that I used an idol last week. We can make it work, and maybe bring them in as fellow conspirators instead of trying to pull one over on them, because they weren't buying it. They got lucky because they were supposed to go to tribal council and they didn't because of the injury and all that. But I don't know. I'm kind of enjoying this season. I'm okay with it so far. The diamond in the rough, the person that is making this season just an extra level of fun for me is Carolyn. That woman is so hilarious watching her. We saw, for those of you, most of you have seen it, right? For those of you who haven't seen it, she got to go on a special little journey. She and two of the big alpha bro kind of guys all got to sit down and have a meal. They're sitting there bonding with each other. It's, oh, let's work together, man. We're going to take this to the end. It's going to be fantastic. And they're just ignoring her. And she's like, come on, guys, you're not even acting like I matter, that I'm even here. Every time she's on the screen, I just laugh. She's perfect. I can't wait to meet her at some future little event somewhere down the road. So no, I'm enjoying it, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. Now, talking about Survivor, I mentioned to y'all last week that there was a viewing party here in Houston, and I went to it last Wednesday. So much fun. Had a blast. Went over there. We were there to kind of cheer on Lauren, who's from just close to Houston, just a little further east than here. But Lauren came in from this season of Survivor. She was there and had a blast. I actually got to talk to her little inside scoop and all that, and got some details from her on stuff. But Lauren was there, very happy. It's so cool that I didn't get to watch my episodes because I was live and I was in the house. Since she's already seen it filmed, I don't know, is that good or bad? She gets to watch all the episodes, so she knows what's going to happen, and she gets to enjoy it all and everything. But at the same time, she knows, unless she wins the whole thing and then enjoy every single episode, but unless she wins the whole thing, at some point there's going to be the episode where she knows it all falls apart for her, but she can't tell anyone else, and is going to have to go in happy. And then when it happens, I don't, it would be tough knowing that this is your bad episode and people all around you are so excited to watch it. And you'd want so much to say, well, it may not go perfectly this one. It was kind of like that with my brother Bowie when he was in The Apprentice. He went home on episode 4. He was the 4th person fired by Donald Trump. He knew that was his episode. But none of the rest of us did, because he wouldn't tell us squat. You'd think he'd at least trust us, right? Nah, he didn't tell anyone anything. So we were all excited for that episode, not knowing at the time that was the end of his experience on The Apprentice. But anyway, Lauren was there. Gio from last season was there. Eric Abraham was there. David Alexander from my season and All-Star Big Brother and the Challenge. I hollered at him. He came over and we hung out as well. Karishma was there. Carl Boudreaux was there. And someone I wasn't expecting to meet. For those of you who watched The Traitors on Netflix, Shelby was there from the first season of Traitors. Incredibly nice, incredibly friendly. Had so much fun talking to her a little bit about what happened with the Traitors. In fact, there's a story too. I'll tell you all about that a little bit later. Not this tonight, but she told me a few things that were interesting about how they filmed it, how long it took, things like that. They got to go to a castle in Scotland. How cool is that? I don't care if you're evicted day number 1 and you're making it to the very end. Getting to hang out in Scotland in a castle sounds kind of cool to me. Nothing against the Big Brother house in Burbank, California, but yeah, Burbank, California, Scotland. Yeah, I know which one sounds a little bit more cool for that. But yeah, I talked to Shelby as well. That was, we had a blast just sitting around. Lots of reality TV fans that were there. And so we all tried to watch the episode, but mainly just talked to each other and had a blast doing that. So we did that. Now, one other thing, and then maybe we'll move on from Survivor a little bit. This was a viewing party here in Houston. For those of you who are in the Texas area or going to be in the Texas area, April 26th over in Sandra Diaz, the queen of Survivor, she actually contacted me and said, hey, Cliff, I'm doing a little thing over in San Antonio. You're certainly invited. Well, unfortunately, work's in the way. I'm not going to be able to go to that event. But for those of you who are in San Antonio or nearby, Sandra's going to be there. Eric Abraham is from San Antonio, so he'll show up at that one as well. And it's just a big viewing party that's going on. Let me know if you want some details about it. I'll put a flyer out later as well. I told her I'd kind of promote it down here. But yeah, Sandra's coming to Texas, and she's going to be watching Survivor as well. It's so fun interacting with all these different Survivor folks and all the other reality TV folks as well, these viewing parties and stuff. And so far, what I've discovered is, regardless of how they portray themselves on TV, some good, some evil and all that. They're also friendly. I've run into only just a very small number of people that were like, yeah, that kind of person's kind of a jerk. And of course, I'm not going to throw out names, but for the most part, someone like Sandra, it would be so easy for her to just be the queen diva. She's won Survivor twice in a row, and yet she is the friendliest, nicest person. Just so cool. One of my favorite parts about being on Big Brother that I didn't really count on until it was over. I thought I'd just do it and then go back to the real world. But yeah, meeting all these other reality folks, kind of neat, kind of cool. All right, moving on to a couple of different topics. Ma's mother. Ma's mother. What did you think of Matthew's medevac? I guess I'm just surprised it didn't happen earlier, right? I feel so sorry for him. It's one thing. Who was the one that went home on day number 1? Was that Bruce? I hope I got his name right. It's one thing if you go home because you get injured during a challenge and you're giving it 100% and things just happen. Yeah, you do something like that. Whatever. Things happen. But to go home because you were screwing around and decided just to climb up a big rock just to show off or do whatever he was doing, and then that causes you to have to go home. That's tough. I kind of feel sorry for him because for the rest of his days, he's gonna be saying, if I just hadn't climbed that rock, could I have won the whole thing? And he maybe could have. He seemed like a nice guy. He was athletic. He had all the components. It seems like you need to win. But no, how long was he out there between when he fell and when he actually got sent home? I think it was 9 days. He went home on day number 11. I think it was due. As Jeff Probst pointed out, he'd started sitting out more of the episodes or more of the competitions. He was waking up in pain every morning. Yeah, I know these shoulder injuries are tough. Sometimes you have an injury, even when it pops out of socket. If you just give it a little while, I don't know if it completely heals up, but it heals up enough that it's not a major issue. But sometimes if you tear enough, it never heals up. Now, some of you may not know, I kind of had a similar injury while I was in the Big Brother house. When I won HOH during the veto competition that week, I tore a calf muscle jumping off that freaking jet ski. Of all the ways to get injured, but jumping off the jet ski to try to get as good a time as possible. I tore my calf muscle a little bit. That hurt. That was tough. That was a few weeks of really wondering how I was going to recover. But I then had another injury later on in the season when we were hanging from the wall, the tilting wall. Something about the way I was hanging, I completely messed up my left shoulder to the point that I could barely raise it over my head. Doing the BB comics where you had to zip line back and forth just about killed me, having to put my hand over my head to do that because I had managed to tear up my shoulder. Didn't dislocate it, but tore up some of the cartilage in there during that wall competition. Oh, it hurt so bad. But I actually, when I got out of the house, it took probably about 6 months before that finally healed up. I had to go in and get some cortisone shots and some different things here and there. So yeah, these reality shows are brutal. But no, I felt so bad for him because he could have done so much more with it. But, as Jeff Probst pointed out, Survivor is a tough game. Those kind of things happen. So I think it was due. I don't think he could have made it to the end. He wasn't showing that it was getting any better. So I think they were nice. They were compassionate to give him as many days as they did. I'm surprised that after 3 or 4, they didn't say, you're out here. Now, having said all that, there were some people at this viewing party last Wednesday that were very irritated that he went home. Not just say went home, but because he went home, there wasn't a tribal council. And I heard a lot of the Survivor former contestants that were saying how much that impacts everyone else's strategy. There were people who were counting on a tribal council to get people out the door. There are other people, like the people on his tribe, that suddenly lost a number they weren't planning on losing. And you can have a medical evac, and next thing you know, it affects everyone's gameplay. It changes up the numbers, the votes, everything. So they were saying how irritated they were that even if he had to evacuate for medical reasons, that they still didn't have a tribal council, and they didn't necessarily think that was the most fair thing in the world. I get it, but CBS didn't want to give up a week of episodes, right? And it's not like you have, well, sometimes you have a battle back type situation, but they weren't set up for that. So I get it. Fair enough. A little different than Big Brother Canada, that's dealing with a much shorter season because they keep having people self-evict from that show. Are y'all keeping track of this? I think I said last week that I was watching Big Brother Canada, and it's kind of like, I just couldn't really get into it. Not like I've done with some of the seasons of all the seasons of Big Brother US. I just wasn't really feeling Big Brother Canada. It's kind of changed over the last week because we've lost 2 people. We have not lost as in voted out, 2 people who have self-evicted from that show. Is that not incredible? So now we've lost from Big Brother Canada so far. How many weeks are they into? 4 or 5? Doesn't seem like it's that long. They've had 3 people self-evict from that show out of the 16 that they started with. It's incredible. And they've got someone else who's threatening. I haven't seen this week's episodes, obviously, but they've got someone else who's threatening to self-evict if they get put on the block and don't like the way things are going. If you lost 25% of the people that started off in that house for self-eviction reasons, and I assume it's self-eviction. They're the woman at the very first, we never heard really any story about exactly why she left. We assume it's self-eviction, but maybe not. Vanessa, who had left last week, assume that's a self-eviction, but again, we haven't heard any details, and I'm not going to speculate. But they've lost a lot of people who weren't voted out of the house. We'll just put it that way. God, that's so hard. When I was in the Big Brother house, I promise you, not for a single minuscule, tiny microsecond did I ever consider self-evicting. I was saying, you're going to have to pretty much drag, even if the vote says I need to go, you may still have to drag me out of here. I'm not going to actually do that. But no, that thought had never crossed my mind ever, that you would ever give up on something like that. No matter how, even if you know you're going home, still, play the thing out. I couldn't understand people who do that. I know Kat Dunn, her first week in house, was talking about maybe wanting to self-evict. And I pulled her into the back room, the archery room. I was like, you can't do it. You're going to regret it for the rest of your life. You have got to stick around. You cannot leave. It's when I was on the block with her. Maybe I shouldn't have been encouraging her so much. If she self-evicted, maybe I would have been safe anyway. But I just couldn't see her doing it. Now, looking back and knowing how strategic Kat was, that was probably all just an act. She's probably just saying that to get people sympathetic to her. She probably never had any actual desire. But yeah, I've always said that people who quit one of these reality shows, I'm never going to be too judgmental, because you never know what you could handle as a person. And if for mental health reasons, for whatever reason, you just don't think that you can continue, then you've got to make your own decisions. And so because of that, I'll give everyone the benefit of the doubt. But having said all that, if you self-evict just because you think that you're getting ready to get booted and you don't want the humiliation of getting voted out or whatever, that's tough. That's a tough one for me to leave alone. But leave it alone, I will, for right now, until I hear a little bit more story. But it's incredible. That's incredible. There's so many people have quit. And one of the people who quit was kind of the focus of the game, it seems like, for a lot of time. But we'll see. Samantha Wallace saying Big Brother Canada this week was crazy. I know. The Thursday night episode, which normally is an eviction, I was watching that just because there was talk about 2 people walking out. And it turns out it was just one. A person who was on the block, who pretty much knew they were going home anyway. Well, it's easy to self-evict if you know you're at the door anyway. You feel like you're walking out making a stand or something, whatever. I still wouldn't do it, but it's easy when you feel like you're already done. For you not to be on the block and say you're going to walk out, that takes a whole different level of whatever you want to call it. But yeah, he ended up not doing it, and I'm glad to see that. Here's the thing: if you self-evict from the house, you're kind of persona non grata in the Big Brother world. I mean, suddenly you don't come back for finals. You probably lose a little stipend they gave us every week to be on the show. You're certainly not on good terms with anything having to do with Big Brother. I would never. I don't know. You got to feel very strongly to give all that up, I think. just so you don't hear your name mentioned come vote time and all that. And truly, at least for one person that walked out last week, I think that was it. You can. The other thing that was mentioned, I know not all y'all watch. I'm not going to spend the whole hour talking about it. But the other thing that came up last week, besides the self evictions, one of the contestants actually came into the house with a letter from his girlfriend. Now, this was written before the season started, so as far as I know, there wasn't anything secret in there. It was just one of these little pep talks. We love you. We're so glad you get to play the game of Big Brother. We'll stand by you throughout. We're going to be cheering you on. One of those kind of letters. But apparently, when you come into the Big Brother house, they search through everything and take out anything that you're not allowed to have. Well, apparently, whoever's looking through his bag somehow missed this letter. It was mixed in with some socks or something. Whatever. They missed it. He had it. The guy who walked out of the house did it because he was saying, oh, he cheated. He had the encouragement that letter provided that we didn't have, and it's not fair that he had that, and he needs to be booted out of the house because of it. And since you're not booting him out of the house, I'm going to walk out and protest. Well, there's cheating and there's cheating. A letter from home that somehow got missed, I'm not putting that on the same level as someone who maybe, I don't know, eats while they're a have-not. Who would do that? I don't know anyone who would do that, but I've heard rumors here and there, right? Wink, wink. But yeah, I don't consider it the level of cheating. He had some punishments. He was not allowed to compete in the next HOH competition. So it's not as though there weren't repercussions, but having a letter written before you ever went in the house and maybe still having that with you, as opposed to actually cheating, doing something that strongly influences the game, I think that's a whole different level. And for someone to say they're walking out because that person didn't get booted, you're playing the game of Big Brother. Big Brother's God. You aren't the one that gets to call the shots, whether it's punishments, twist, whatever. You live with whatever they throw at you. And when they decided a punishment, if you don't think that's enough, well, whatever. You don't have a say in the matter. So I thought it was a little silly to use that as an excuse, but it is what it is. So yeah, but crazy week in Big Brother Canada. I'm definitely gonna be watching this week to see what happens. So yeah, they hooked me in. It's probably all a huge conspiracy thing. It's probably all planned out just because the ratings weren't there or something, and they just did all this just to pull us all in and watch it. I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it's scripted. I'm not saying that it's all planned out or anything like that, because it's not. But yeah, conspiracy people will probably say something like that. What a crazy week. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. All right. My mom. Hey, Mom, how are you doing? You had better be here for Easter. I am not going to miss Easter this weekend. Now, I will be there, Mom. I'll show up with a prank or two, a few hard-boiled eggs. Hey, maybe a raw egg mixed in with the equation. Nothing more fun than watching someone getting ready to peel a hard-boiled egg, and they break it and realize that it's actually still raw. So, yeah, I'll be there, Mom. You know I wouldn't miss it, right? All right, Vicky Stone saying, have you ever eaten frog legs? Yeah, I've had a few frog eggs here and there. Little hint, they taste like chicken. They actually do. I've eaten frog legs. Where about? I've had frog legs in Thibodaux, Louisiana, if I remember. No, place called Bro Bridge is where. I can't believe I remember that. Place called Bro Bridge in Louisiana, just a little east of Lafayette, which is a decent sized city there in Lafayette, but it's down in Cajun country. And I had a local guy who said, I'm going to take you to a place to eat that's really authentic Cajun. He took me back in the swamps. I mean, I'm surprised we didn't get a little Peru boat to get back there or something. He took me out in the middle of nowhere. We pull into this tiny, it looks like a house. Pull into this house. We walk inside. It is the most amazing restaurant, not because it's fancy or anything, but you just walk in and they had the most amazing food. Oh, they had etouffees and jambalayas and all that, but they also had frog legs. And so they brought out, I don't know, 5 or 6 frogs worth. So what was that, 12 legs, I guess. I don't think you eat the front legs. I think you just eat the back legs, but I'm not a frog leg expert. All I know is they brought out little frog legs. They're about this big or so. So they looked a little bit like chicken wings or something. Yeah, but they were fine. Anything special? Nah, there's nothing that made me think, oh, I'm going to be getting frog legs from now on. No, they just tasted like chicken for people who can't find chickens that particular day. They weren't bad. They were good. I remember eating my first frog legs. I also remember eating my first snails, which as a kid, I never would have thought that I would have ever eaten snails, or that certainly I would have ever enjoyed eating snails. But I had snails when I was down in Bogota, Colombia, staying at a hotel called the World Trade Center Hotel, not the World Trade Center, their version of it, but a hotel there in Bogota. And they had the special that night while I was eating at the hotel restaurant of buttered snails, still in the shell. Said, all right, well, I'm feeling adventurous because I'm down here in Bogota. It's this crazy country. At the time, we weren't allowed to leave the main city because it was too dangerous. And so I said, all right, I'm a rebel tonight. So bring on the snails. They bring out a plate that's just filled with snail shells that probably about an inch big or so, and a tiny little fork. And each of these snail shells had a little piece of snail sticking out of it. You'd stick that fork in, you'd pull it out of the shell, pop it in your mouth. Lots of butter. Butter always makes things that much better, right? It's actually very good. Frog legs, yeah, I can take it or leave it. Buttered snails, put those on the menu. I'll try them again on down the road. Not the ones out in the backyard here. Tiny little snails, they'd never be worth it. But the big ones, pretty cool. Still sounds disgusting, but actually tastes pretty good. All right, Mark saying, your favorite Easter food? I hope you say mac and cheese. Well, it's got to be the mac and cheese, right? Yeah, Easter and Thanksgiving, you've got your set menus and all of that. I don't know that we do that as much for Easter. We'll have some kind of big fancy protein or something, but yeah, it's mac and cheese. And being that it's Easter, a whole lot of hard-boiled eggs. I love me some hard-boiled eggs, and we always have a lot, because it seems, and then tell me as when y'all were kids, it certainly was the case with me. It's a lot more fun finding the eggs out in the yard that the Easter Bunny left behind, but actually eating dozens and dozens of eggs, maybe not quite so much fun as a kid. So yeah, we always had a lot of eggs that we'd find early in the morning, but then later in the afternoon, they'd suddenly turn into magical deviled eggs. So yeah, lots of deviled eggs, lots of macaroni and cheese, and yeah, throw in a pot roast or something in there as well. So yeah, we'll eat well. I promise that's not going to be an issue. Moss saying graduates on May 23rd. Whoop! Congratulations, Moss, and Keith Franken as well. Congratulations to both of y'all. That the world is your oyster. Now, the hard work, you got part of it done. The work doesn't end. The work never ends. You got a whole different level. You're like a video game. You conquered the standard level. Now you're going up to the advanced level. But now, congratulations to both of y'all, man. Truly, the world is your oyster. Whichever way life takes you, everything, all opportunities are in front of you. Go out and whichever path life ends up taking you on, embrace it, enjoy it, and have. I'm very envious of you. It's y'all are living. Not that I don't love and enjoy being 57, 58 years old, but being 18 out of high school, 22 out of college, those are some prime years. There's so much to experience in life, so experience every single bit of it. Cool for y'all. I'm actually absolutely happy for both of y'all, and cool. I'm glad we met. I'm glad we get to talk just so I get to hear little stories like that. Congratulations. All right. Amanda Lowe saying, tried the Dr. Pepper strawberry, pretty good. Like the vanilla better. Yeah, I like the strawberry. I told y'all last week, for those of you who may not have heard it. I like the strawberries and cream, but it's definitely not a thirst quencher type of soft drink. It's like the brand. Can you say that? It's a brandy of soft drinks. It does seem like it's a little bit more of a sipping soft drink that you would have as part of a dessert, as opposed to just drinking it because you got a thirst. It definitely has that chocolate taste to it, and I guess the strawberries as well. I think I told last week, said tasted like the cherry candies you get in the big box of candies or something. What was it, Forrest Gump thing. Life's like a bunch of chocolates. Well, this one tastes a lot like the cherry flavored one. So it's good. I'm not drinking it. Obviously, I don't like it quite as much as some people because I'm not drinking it quickly. So, Mom, I may have a 12-pack of Dr. Pepper strawberries and cream I'm bringing up this weekend to pass around, let everyone else try it as well. So that'll be my after dinner dessert contribution. All right, Misfire. Hey, Misfire, how are you doing? Is there a private, unseen room in the Big Brother house to help with medical stuff? Yeah, a little bit. And a funny story behind that. We've got the diary room downstairs, right? And sometimes you can get medical stuff taken care of in that room. When I did the Win It and You're in It, the final veto competition when it was 4 of us, the one I didn't win and got sent home because of that. I had a little bit of heat exhaustion from that, and medical actually treated me in the diary room that particular after I got done, put some ice packs on me and things like that. But there was a second diary room in the Big Brother house. And what's funny, I didn't realize that until I got into the house, and suddenly upstairs, if you walk down the hallway, if you kept going past the HOH room, and then you go past the door in the hallway that leads to have not room. There's one more door, and I always just assumed it was an exit door. Now it's a little second diary room up there. Sometimes it was used not really to record stuff that was shown on TV because they didn't have all the fancy backgrounds and stuff. But it was there if the producers needed to get some information to you. Some people were on medication, so you would get called upstairs to the upstairs diary room, and you go in and there'd be a bottle of pills, whatever they needed for medication. But sometimes, like when I injured my calf, I got sent upstairs, which going up those stairs was not easy with that torn calf muscle. But I went upstairs. When I got up there was actually an EMT on site that kind of helped evaluate it and things like that. So yeah, there is a second. It's not really hidden, but you don't really see it on TV too much. But it's an upstairs diary room. Now, I was in before COVID, but ever since COVID, I guess they still do COVID testing. I know they did for the first few years. I think they did it last season as well. So whenever they do COVID testing, they would go upstairs to the upstairs diary room and do the testing there, because you don't want the downstairs diary room to be taken up with all of these extra medical issues and all that, because they're busy talking to people down there and getting the stuff that they need for the episodes and all that. So yeah, we had a second room. So having said all that, I got in the house, and I think I said one of the first times I was in there, said, it's so cool. I never even realized there was a second diary room in this house. I've watched the show for so long, I never had any clue. Oh, they didn't tell me that it was brand new to my season. Ours was the first season that had it. At the very end, someone said, Cliff, we just got it this season. It's like, oh, I just thought I'd missed something. No, it's brand new, Cliff. So yeah, but we do have a second room. So just FYI. All right, what else do we have on here? Marianne saying, hey, Marianne, does production step in when they hear someone is going to self-evict? Having not ever threatened to do it myself, I can't say for certain, but yeah, I think there's two things that happen. I think, first of all, if you're really feeling down in a house, and everyone has their moments when they're just absolutely thinking, God, this is horrible. I feel so alone. I feel so lost. I feel so betrayed. Insert whatever depressing word at the end you want. But we all in that house have our moments of time where you just think, what am I doing? And you're just feeling out. You're feeling in the outs and all that. At that point, sometimes you'll get called into the diary room, and the voice will just come over and say, hey, Cliff, how are you doing? I had it. Before I knew I was getting to be evicted, but right after we'd sent out Tommy instead of Holly and all that, there was a period of time where I was just feeling down. I was saying, this is too much pressure. I'm sitting there making decisions that can have a $500,000 decision behind it. And I went in and just said, man, I just need to vent. I'm feeling horrible. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm very out of it right now. And they just talk to me. They say, oh, tell us what's going on. What do you think's going to happen? What's the worst? So you have people that actually walk you through some of your depressing moments in that house. So that's one thing. The other thing is that the diary room the producers told us from the very beginning They said, don't ever feel like you have to wait for us to call you into the diary room. If we need stuff for the episodes, we're going to call you in. But if you ever just need to come in and talk and get away from the other house guest, whatever, as long as there's not someone already in there, we'll bring you in and we'll just let you talk or, chill, whatever you need to do. I never really did that too much, but I know there's other people like Nicole. She had some decisions that were very difficult, and she would just go in there and just cry for long periods of time, and Big Brother lets you do it. So they've got that. But if it gets to the point where you're telling other people, hey, I think I'm done, I do think at that point they probably do bring you in and say, we hear what you're saying. What can we do to help you out? Would you like to talk this thing through? Let's see if it's truly what you need to do or not. And I think some of that takes place. And then if you absolutely are still bound and determined to self-evict, I have a feeling, and I don't know this for certain, but I have a feeling at that point, probably someone steps in and says, all right, look, just so you're aware, if you self-evict, you're not going to get this. You're not going to get this. You're not going to get invited to this. There's going to be repercussions if you do this. We're putting it all on the table. You need to know what's going to happen. And I think they probably lay down the law so that you can't claim that you weren't aware of any of this. The other thing that I think probably does happen, Big Brother has here in the United States, I'm sure up in Canada, they've got a psychologist on duty who probably sitting in some back room listening to everything. When they say, hey, feel free to come on in, whether we call you or not, just come on in and talk to us. If you're in a diary room, don't assume anything you say may not end up on TV, but because they want to see those kind of moments as well. But I have a feeling a psychologist is probably listening to this as well. And remember last season, Paloma left so early here in the United States. I have a feeling that a psychologist probably listens. And there may be a point in a time where they say, look, this person's not doing well from a mental health standpoint. Doesn't have anything to do with the competition. From a mental health standpoint, they're not doing well. And maybe I recommend that they not stay in there. If that's the case, they probably aren't going to lay down a law and do all that. And they'll be a little more sympathetic. So it depends on the situation. But yeah, I think for certain, they're going to try to talk you out of it. And they're going to try to see if there's something they can do that's going, because no one wants to see anyone self-evict, right? Whether it's someone you're cheering for or against, the worst villain in the world, I still don't want to see him walk out. I want to see him play the thing out, good or bad. So no one wants to see that. So yeah, I think they try to convince you otherwise, but at some point, it is what it is. And they say, all right, come on, give us your microphone. You're done. Say goodbye to the house forever. Yeah. But yeah, they do what they can. All right, Brenda Barton. Hey, Brenda, when does Big Brother start? I'm waiting to hear the announcement. Casting is still going on for certain, but when I did my season, it started June 23rd, June 28th, something like that. It started the very beginning of June. I mean, the very end of June, because we were in the house over the 4th of July. Seems like for the last couple of years, though, they haven't started until right after the 4th of July, like the week following. So that's what I'm guessing. I don't know what day the 4th is this year, but I'm guessing maybe that Sunday or Tuesday after or something like that, they'll do it. So they may start bringing people in for sequester. Of course, I don't know if they're still doing COVID testing or anything, but they'll bring people in for sequester and all probably around 4th of July and start up right afterward. Best guess, but I don't think they've made an announcement yet. So we shall see. Because the season starts a little bit later, the seasons aren't lasting quite as long. I think ours was the last season. It was 99 days. That's a long time to be in that house. But yeah, a little bit shorter because of that. But yeah, they haven't made the official announcement just yet. Patty Bell saying, missing Celebrity Big Brother. I agree. That's a nice little relief. And D. Ellis saying, looking forward to a new season of Big Brother. Oh, you and me both, brother. Yeah, it was weird not having Celebrity Big Brother, but just didn't work out this year. I'm sure, I think it'll be back. I don't know. Last season's Celebrity Big Brother, some of those people, I mean, look at Todrick. You think Todrick still is happy that he went on Celebrity Big Brother? Or Carson or Misha? There's some people who maybe had good and bad. I mean, you're putting a lot more at risk. Some random person that's never been in the public limelight, whatever, we'll deal with it. But if you're a celebrity, your whole career could be affected by going to a house. So maybe that caused some pause for celebrities who said, "Yeah, I saw what happened last season. I don't know if I want to do that or not." But they can find it. If they can't find the D-list people, they can find the E-list celebrities, right? Surely so. So I don't know. I missed it, but yeah, you're right. And as far as the new Big Brother, yeah, I'm so ready for it. It's going to be so much fun. Speaking of, I mentioned the viewing parties that I went to, the one that's coming up. Did y'all know there's another casting call? Yeah, if you live in the Connecticut area, I don't know. Y'all states up there is so small. If you're anywhere close to Connecticut, it probably is close enough. There's going to be a casting call. I want to say, what day is it? April 13th. My mom's birthday. Happy birthday early, Mom. April 13th, there's a casting call at a casino up in Connecticut somewhere. I'm sure you can just do a Google search for Big Brother casting call Connecticut and it'll pop right up. But they're doing casting call up there. Now, it's a little interesting because it's my understanding the casting production team isn't actually going to Connecticut. They're going to the casino up there is going to videotape everyone that wants to try out, and then I guess they'll pick or choose, or they'll send the tapes. I'm not sure how it works, but they'll be handling I think it's actually the TV, not the casino, the TV affiliate, the CBS affiliate up there will be handling the tryout and then sending all the information back to production. The end result is production still sees it. So it's not that it's not worth going up there and trying out. So if you're in the area, man, go hang out and do it. I actually saw that listed, and I'm still waiting for the Gulf Coast, Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, somewhere around here, the casting call, because I guarantee if they do one down here, I'm going to show up and I'm going to be cheering on every single person that's there and giving them hints and advice and everything else, because I love seeing people that are hopeful and expecting and looking forward to the opportunity, the chance that they may make it into that house. Because I remember what that was like when I tried out as well. I didn't think I had a chance in the world, and here I am. So you never know. So if you're in the Connecticut area, April 13th, that could be your. I still remember the day I showed up for my casting call, February 23rd of 2019. I will always remember that date. April 13th could be your magical date as well. Think about it. You show up, you say, I'm not ever going to make it. Next thing you know, in a couple months, you're inside the house. How cool would that be, right? It's amazing. Trust me, it's amazing. All right, Vicky Stone, have you ever eaten mountain oysters? Not on purpose. No, I'm an adventurous eater, and if they were put in front of me, would I try them? Yeah, it's easy to say. For those of you who don't know, there's not a lot of actual oysters that grow up in the mountains, right? Kind of more of an ocean type situation. So, yeah, mountain oysters are a very special meal consisting of calf testicles, right? I guess they could be sheep or pigs or something else, but when I hear mountain oysters, I think of calf. I could be wrong. And does it really matter at the end of the day when they put it on the plate, other than ostrich egg size versus little quail egg size? Other than that, I don't know if it really makes a huge difference. But no, I have not. I don't recall I've ever actually tried them. I think I would know if I had tried them. So I think that's probably a no. I've never been on Fear Factor, so I've never had to try them raw or anything else. So now I'll keep that in my bucket list, but maybe not the primary bucket list. That'll be the one way off here to the side. What else have I had exotic? I've had beef tongue. There was a restaurant over in Bakersfield, California, a Basque restaurant, which is a region of between, I think, Spain and France, the Basque area. And there's a whole settlement there in Bakersfield, California, of people from the Basque area. And I went to a Basque restaurant and they had pickled beef tongue. And I thought, oh, that'd be kind of interesting. So sure, I'll try it, bring up. They didn't just bring out like little tiny slices that look like, whatever, like slices of bologna or something. No, they bring out this whole tongue just sitting there on the plate. And then you're expected just to carve off little pieces. Did it taste bad? No. It tasted maybe a little bit like calamari or something. very chewy. But here's what was unsettling about trying that beef tongue. First of all, when I bit into it, it was a little rubbery, a little chewy. Two, I could taste the taste buds. I mean, feel. I could feel the cow's tongue's taste buds on my tongue. Was that calf tongue tasting me at the same time I was tasting it? I don't know. It was a very strange, not particularly enjoyable sensation to feel that old gritty calf tongue on mine. So I've had calf tongue. I haven't had calf tongues. One was enough for me. Probably be the same way with the old mountain oysters. So now you found my Achilles heel. I haven't tried one of those yet. Maybe somewhere down the road. During Big Brother, the HOH or the veto competition during my HOH, where we had to jump off the jet ski, where I got injured, for some reason I was so certain that was going to be a horrible eating challenge, some kind of smoothie with anchovies and raw fish, all kinds of stuff in it, wasabi and all. I don't know why I thought that. I just really thought it was that particular time where they were going to do it. So I was spending all afternoon really just saying, whatever it is, you got to drink it. You've got to win this veto so you can get Jack out. And so I was so prepared for that. And then I go outside. Nah, it's not that. It's stripping your clothes off while on a jet ski. Not what I expected. All right, what else do we have on here? Ma saying, has senioritis, you've got senioritis bad. I can understand. Not doing well in classes. All right, you got to keep up the work. Have got 0 in science. All right, Ma, you and I got to have a little conversation here. Scared of classes. Had to do a band solo also. Did well first year. All right, Ma, first of all, let me say this. You're not the first one, and you are not alone. You're going through exactly what a whole lot of us have done, high school, college. It's easy to start looking so far ahead that you kind of forget to take care of business short term. But trust me, you got to take care of it. It's like playing Big Brother. I can do great the first half of the season, but if I just slack off here a little bit towards the end, you lose all the stuff you work for at the beginning. So push a little harder. Hey, if nothing else, put a big old calendar up on there saying, a month ago, month and a half, cross off those days and just realize that it's not going to last forever. You only have to work really hard for another 4 or 5 weeks. And then you can take a real quick break before you move on to the next task, the next challenge. But the main thing is, you're not the only one going through that. You're surrounded by thousands of other people, hundreds of thousands, maybe not hundreds, tens of thousands of people all around the United States who are feeling the same kind of senioritis. You just got to fight through it. Trust me, I went through it as well. You're so excited about what lies ahead in the future that who wants to be bothered about the last little bit, but you got to finish it up. Just do it. Trust me, you'll feel better if you do it. Get it out of the way, and then you can move on. So yeah, you can do it. I have full faith in you, Ma. 8 o'clock. Oh, 8 o'clock so quick. I had so many stories to tell. We'll have to follow up next week on them. All right, Miss Fire saying, one of my former castmates got recruited. Excited if she gets on. Oh, that is cool. I did not get recruited. Of course, how would they find me? It's not like I'm hanging out in the bars. I was on social media and all that, but I know a couple of people from my season were recruited. Every year there's a few that get recruited. That's got to be a pretty cool feeling, right? When someone reaches out to you and says, hey, I want to put you on a TV show. I mean, I guess it's a good feeling, right? It certainly suggests that you really stand out from other folks, that you're not even selling yourself. You're just whoever you are stands out. That's pretty cool. All right. If they get a little closer to the process, Miss Fire, let us know if they make it on. You can't spoil secrets or anything else, but if they make it on, let us know, because we'll cheer for them, and that'd be really cool. I want someone that we know out here to get on the show so we can get solidly behind them and talk about it. That'd be a lot of fun. All right, real quick, Brian, I want to mention Sorrel, the voice. He's got a little connection to him. Watched him last week. They're full speed ahead, right? It's pretty cool. All the reality shows, I enjoy that much more if I know I've got some kind of connection with them somehow. And I'm living vicariously through you, Brian, on the Sorrel sister. So that's pretty neat. All right, guys. 8:01. I had so many extra little things that we'll just throw out some. We'll do it next week. It's all right. You know me. I'm trying to 10 rebel. All right, guys, we're going to shut it down. Before I do, I didn't mention earlier. If you're watching live, if you're watching on repeat, either one, if you haven't already gone out and subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so. You can hit the thumbs up while you're out there. Most important, well, signing out, subscribing, I guess, is important, but turn on the notifications. And if you do that, then you'll know whenever I'm getting ready to do a new show. Big Brother's coming up. We'll be doing all kinds of recaps and all, so I'll get a little more active as we get a little closer to that. So yeah, think about signing up and turn on notifications. Guys, y'all have a fantastic, happy Easter to all of y'all. Be safe. I know a lot of people travel, so be safe. Don't eat too many peeps. Don't eat any rotten eggs whatsoever. Make sure the eggs you find were left by the Easter Bunny this year and not last year. Y'all have a fantastic Easter. Enjoy the warm weather, the cool weather, the changing weather. Have a great one. SKD 143. Love my wife, love my kids, love all of y'all out here. Y'all have a great one, guys. Happy Easter again. See y'all next Monday. Cheers. Talk to y'all later. Bye. Such a